Hey guys, what's going on? So in the video today, I'm going to be talking about my favorite lace, which is the Rawhide lace, and I've been wearing them so much over the past few years. I have a few observations that I'd like to actually share with all of you. I wanted to dedicate a video solely to Rawhide laces and talk about them. First off, I think they're just so beautiful. I love the look that the leather lace brings to a nice, sturdy, American-made Goodyear welted work boot. I think that the aesthetic that it brings to the boot is better than any cotton lace could give it in most cases, you know, unless it's like a dressier boot. But a good rugged boot, in my opinion, looks so dang good with Rawhide laces. One thing that I've learned is that Rawhide laces stretch quite a bit. And so what I'm going to demonstrate here is, I know they're not perfectly straightened out, but they more or less end at the 64 and a half inch mark when laid out, when brand new. Now, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be stretching them by hand. And so all I do is I just, I grab different sections of the lace and I just pull, you know, gently. You don't want to pull too hard because you can snap them. In fact, I did have a pair recently that snapped on me. So you want to pull kind of slow and gentle. Don't pull them too hard, but just apply firm pressure, I would say, and go gradually with it, and they will stretch out quite a bit, as you will see here shortly. Some pairs of Rawhide laces, sometimes it's just the batch or the specific cut of the Rawhide, they could snap on you. So I've had some Rawhides snap, I've had 4 in my entire life snap on me, 2 of which happened during the filming of this video, oddly enough. But the good thing about Rawhide laces is most all of them have a tensile strength of approximately 70 pounds. And in most all cases, except for some rare exceptions, will that be the case. So if a Rawhide lace is going to snap, it's just one of those anomalies that for some reason there is a weak spot somewhere within the grain of the lace. Again, these are 72-inch laces, so they're about 6 foot each. They shouldn't snap, but if they do, you know, it's just something that happens. What's funny is the pair that snapped on me during the filming of this video is they both snapped in the exact same spot. The pieces that snapped off were each about 5 inches long, which was funny. So it just goes to show that sometimes they're, you know, since both of those laces came from the same cut, they shared the same exact weak spot, and that's why they both snapped in the same spot. Rawhides, 99% of the time, are very strong. They're my go-to. They're not just, I don't just like them for aesthetics. I like them because they're so strong. And the other thing that's cool about the Rawhide laces, how they stretch, is to me it gives the boot a more natural feel when they're laced up. The cotton laces don't stretch, they're kind of stiff. If your foot swells a lot throughout the day, which mine does sometimes, then you might need to relace your boots because the tension from, you know, the swelling of your foot is going to cause the boot to feel tighter, and it might aggravate you some, and you know, either your leather is going to stretch or your foot is going to be squeezed inside the boot. So it's sometimes in those cases, it's with those cotton laces, it's good to actually retie those cotton laces. But I've found that with the Rawhide laces, since they're also leather, they sort of have some give, some extra stretch, and to me it makes the overall fit of the boot feel a little bit more comfortable. So that's just my 2 cents. Okay, so now you can see here just how long it has stretched. It's basically almost 70 inches. It went from 64 and a half to 70 inches, almost 6 inches it stretched. And this is just an initial stretch. I'm sure that as you actually wear them and as the tension on the lace progresses over time, that they'll break in even more and stretch out even more. And here I am doing the other lace now. And as you can see, my technique is just to kind of wrap it around my fist, pull, wrap it again, pull, and that's to make sure that I'm kind of getting even stretch throughout the entire lace. You know, trying to give every inch of the lace the same amount of tension so that the stretch is applied consistently across the entirety of the length of the lace, if that makes sense. What's interesting is they both seem to have stretched the same length. They're both 69, 70 inches now. And again, I know they're not perfectly straight. Okay, so moving on to the next topic after stretching is the cutting phase. Actually, since most of them do come in this 72-inch length, I know specifically from Guarded Goods, they're 72 inches, and the laces that Truman includes with their boots is also 72 inches. What's cool about those is if you keep them at the 72-inch length, you can actually tie them to the top, wrap them around the boot, and then get a good tie around the ankle. You also have the option of, if you wanted to shorten the laces, you could, so that you can just lace the lace all the way up to the top, to the very top eyelet, and then tie like normal. I know a lot of people like to do that as well. So what you can do is you just snip the rawhide laces, and I'll actually show some tips on how I snip the rawhide laces, because there's a way to do it. I like to snip it at a sharp angle so that the tip of the lace can fit through the eyelets easier. If you just do a blunt cut across the grain of the lace, then what that does is that could create a sort of a compacted shape at the tip of the lace that makes it difficult to get through the eyelets. So that's why I snip it at an angle, to make it sharper so that it gets through the eyelets easier. And so yeah, again, so there's two ways to lace your boots with these rawhide laces. There's the wraparound, and then there's the just lace up, the standard lace up. When you wrap the laces around, I actually skip the top eyelets, because to me it looks a little bit too busy if you were to lace them all the way up to the top eyelet and then wrap it around. And that's why I skip the top set of speed hooks when I'm doing an ankle wraparound tie. But if you wanted to lace all the way to the top, if you kept the 72-inch length of the lace, it would actually be too long and it would look ridiculous. So that's why when you cut the lace down, you end up trimming probably about a good 5-6 inches off each side. So probably a good 10 inches you trim the lace down to be able to lace them all the way up. All right, and I actually took the laces off the boot so that I could show close up how I do this. And so it's also worth noting that one end of the lace is really thick and the other end of the lace is really thin on this particular pair. So what I want to do is I want to snip off the thin side to maintain as much of the thick portion of the lace as possible. And so what I'm doing here is I got the excess piece that I snipped off when I had the boots on, so that I know how much approximately to cut off when I actually cut the lace. Here I'm doing it, I'm cutting it at an angle to create this nice beveled look. And that beveled angle there, that sharp angle, will allow to feed the lace through the eyelets much easier, because like I said before, if you just cut it straight across, over time, it won't happen initially, but over time, that blunt side of the lace will sort of compact and get thicker as time goes on. And if your eyelets aren't very thick or wide to begin with, then it's hard to feed the lace through the eyelet. And so here I am, I'm actually snipping the thicker side of the lace now to create the beveling, just so that it's, again, easier to feed through the eyelets. You can use any tool you want. You could use scissors, you could even use a knife to do this. I'm actually using a nail cutter. It's kind of a heavy duty nail cutter to do this cutting, because I feel like it gets the most accurate cut. There's another trick that I wanted to talk about with rawhide laces that I just discovered recently, and that is how to tie them, actually. So up until now, I've been doing a double knot to keep them tied throughout the day, because if you don't tie them correctly, they'll come undone fairly quickly. But as you can see, that double knot's kind of ugly. Well, not on this pair, it doesn't look that bad, but in a lot of cases, that double knot kind of looks kind of ridiculous. And so there is a better way to do it, and it's very simple, actually. So what you do is you tie a normal knot, and then you pull it real tight right there. See what I'm doing there? Don't kill it, but pull it pretty tight. And when you pull it tight, the tension of the rawhide lace will hold itself in place, and it won't come undone. It'll stay tied all throughout the day. There I am doing my ankle arch. I like to arch my ankle out like that when I tie the top of the boot, just to make sure it's not too tight. And then here I go again, pull it real tight right there. And once you do that, that will ensure that the leather lace holds itself in place throughout the day. That's the video. I didn't want to make it too long or elaborate, but those are just some tips that I've discovered about rawhide laces over the years, and I wanted to share it with you all because I truly love these laces. I think they do really lend themselves well to the aesthetic of, say, Truman and Viberg boots and other boots with wider eyelets like the Grantstone Diesel boot and things like that. I think a lot of boots look really good with a rawhide lace, and I just wanted to share a couple of my insights into the rawhide laces that I've acquired over the years. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I am on Instagram. You can follow me there. My username is AeroSurferLV, and I will see y'all in my next video.